Okay, hi everybody. We're gonna do this episode a little bit different, and we have the amazing Emily Evan Russell with us today. Hi, Emily. How are you today?
Hello, ladies. I'm wonderful. How are you?
We're good. We're good. So excited to have you here with us.
Thank you for inviting me. And I know it took us a while to get a time, so I'm grateful we got it on the schedule.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
thank you.
grateful too. We were just talking about how that took so long for get together with Emily, but I think it's worth it. And we're gonna start talking about energy shopping. So Emily, can you just like introduce us to this amazing topic? I think it's one of my favorites.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. I first came across the tools of Access Consciousness about 8 years ago now. And one of the tools, I guess, in a way, is that I was first introduced to was this idea of, looking around, like, what do you actually desire in your life? And what would you like to create? And what brings you joy? And, that's a question which a lot of us don't really dive that deep into. A lot of us go, okay, well, we sort of check off the boxes of what the world around you presents as what you should want. Like, oh, I want to get married, or I want to make this, $100,000 a year, or I want to travel more, or it's all these like general things, and maybe not even things that are true for you. And with Access Consciousness, so much is about playing with energy,
Yeah.
And when I first came to Access, I truly thought I didn't know anything about energy myself, which is funny. But I remember being like, everybody else gets it. I'd always find amazing other like body healers and energy workers, but I had decided I didn't know about energy. And what I love about Access Consciousness and the tools, like, I'm a certified facilitator, I'm a being you facilitator. So I've done a lot of work, studying all these different things really. But the tagline of Access is empowering you to know that you know. And I started to get, oh my gosh, it's not that I don't know about energy. We all do. It's our first language we come in with when we're born. We don't have words, and words can be so limiting. Every time you define something with words, you limit it, because there's a whole universe beyond that word, energetically, and you'll be aware of something different than I would be aware of. So with this idea of what would you like to create in your life, I like to talk about it as this way of, okay, what if you could ask, and we all have heard of the concept, I think, of ask and receive. It's the way the universe works. So the universe also speaks energy. And like I said, we often ask for things in words that can be quite limiting, or maybe, are things we think we should want, but don't actually desire. So the way of asking for what you'd like in your life by asking for energies and asking those energies to show up without defining them, or without having it to be totally linear, is what I like to talk about as energy shopping. Like a really easy way to create your life that is more dynamic than vision boards and the traditional like manifesting techniques. And it's a lot more fun.
So do you mean that I don't have to see it every single day, like going like this? I want, you know what I mean? And concentrate really hard. I just can ask.
Yeah. You just can ask. I mean, I had done vision boards, and they work, and manifesting, those different techniques work in one way to a certain point, because at least you're getting kind of clear on what you want to ask for. I used to meditate. I was not very good at it because I don't like sitting still, whatever that means to not be good at it. But and then I started getting, an access with something called Access Bars, which is this amazing, relaxing technique, points on the head that just like clear your slate, relax, give you peace. And once I started getting my bars and having sessions, I didn't need to meditate anymore, because I had so much like space. I'm like, oh wow, it's a lot easier. But yeah, I used to, at least you're getting clear with those things on this is what I want, but they can be very limiting, because your brain can only, basically it's a great calculating mechanism, and it looks around the world for, here's what's possible, here's what's the best on offer. And it's also designed to keep you safe, so you don't want to ask for too much, or you don't want to take too many risks. Your brain's job, like your mind's job, is to go, only ask for so much. Here's what's available, but be careful because there's X, Y, and Z that might happen. And that's just what your brain does. So even when you're like creating a vision board, you're going based on what your mind has seen as possible. And with energy shopping, it's this idea of, okay, what do I, as I go around the world, what energies am I aware of that just make me happy? Like that bring me joy. I don't have to go, oh, that's going to give me this salary. Like I would like to make more money. So I'm going to ask for this particular job, or I want to live in a nice house that looks like this picture from this magazine I cut out. Well, that's awesome. But it's also someone else's idea. And it's also very linear and very specific. And now you're only asking for that. With energy shopping, it's like, okay, my life will get greater when I have more joy, when I'm having more fun. Like lightness is truly like you, the being, you being you, is light, it's joy. It's really what the earth, is asking for more of on this planet that like, keeps a sustainable earth, like all of that. It's not just selfish. It's not just about like what you want in your life. It adds to the consciousness of the world and the planet, So energy shopping is this idea of, okay, when you're going about your daily life, and some really simple examples that I often use are, I have a new puppy in the last year who I just adore. And he's this energy of like just total cuddles and happy, and he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so maybe you've seen a really sweet puppy or a kid, like playing in the park or wherever you're walking, and you just go, oh man, like they're just embody something that of joy or happiness that you're like, that lights me up. I would like more of that. So I go, okay, I would like more of that universe. That's on my, like, almost like you'd make a grocery list. Like that's my energy shopping list. And it doesn't have to be as specific. A grocery list would be like, I'm going to get eggs or apples or that. But this is like that energy, for whatever reason, it made my world lighter. And I love that. Like I also years ago saw a video of someone hang gliding. And the joy, like as they were running off this cliff and the fresh air and like the feeling of flying, I was like, that energy, I would like that in my life. Now, it didn't have to show up as hang gliding. There was something in just seeing that video that it was the energy of that whole experience that you can't even nail it down to just hang gliding. That's not it. It was everything going on in that I was like, that I will have more of that. The feel of like, think of your favorite place you've been in nature, like a place that you love that you can like call up and go, oh, that. So there's an energy that you're aware of there. It's not just that place. That whole place has an energy that contributes to you. And so those are the sort of things that I put on my energy shopping list. Now, some of us, at first I would write them down. I keep a note in my phone. Other people, that's too like, I don't want to have to make another list. So just note like, oh, that I would like to add to my energy shopping list. It works that way too. If you don't want to write things down. And that's how you start to get a sense of how you'd like to create your life based on the energies that contribute to you, that bring you joy, that relax you, that like inspire you. It could be all these different things. Maybe there's a person or a speaker or a leader that you go, oh, I love how they create, or I love their leadership style. That's also an energy. So you start to just create this general list of, you know what, I would like more of this. And that's the beginning of your energy shopping list. And then we can talk a little bit about a really simple technique I use called which we talk about in Access, called the like an energy ball, but I use, and how to pull those energies into your life. But I use my energy shopping list for that, to basically ask and receive for those energies to show up any way they would like universe. It's involves this relaxation and a letting go of control of, I'm asking for this. I don't know how it's going to show up. I don't know what it's going to look like. Like it's different than a vision board. It's like trusting that the universe has so much more in store for you than your brain could possibly figure out, than you think is possible, than you think you deserve, than like all of these limitations that we put on ourselves and our brain puts on ourselves. And when you just start to ask for energies to show up, your life ends up looking completely different than you could, and greater than you could have tried to figure out or limit by asking for only specific things.
Yeah, you kind of lose the linearity of stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there is no linearity with Access, with energies, with there's none. Like, okay, there's the other day I was like, oh, I would like, I don't know, I didn't even remember what I asked for. And then I went like, oh, I was stressed about money, and I'd forgotten that my mother-in-law had given me money, and I just picked up my computer, and they were like, I don't know, like €100 under my computer. We're like, oh, I've got money. You know what I mean?
That.
That, exactly that. And I went like, okay, so it's not about that. It's not the linearity of the situation. It's about pulling the energy. And the things that you're telling me, that it's these subtle things, it's this subtle way that it communicates. Like, I've always, when I came into Access, I always went like, okay, so when energy comes, when it communicates, it would go like smack in your face, like I'm here. And when people would always say like, it's a whisper, I would go like, this is are you kidding me? Like, this is bullshit. People are lying to me. Energy cannot communicate like in this subtle way. Like, this has to be a lie. Everybody's lying to me. And then I went like, I swear to God. And the other day, I was like, I was doing something else. I went into it. I don't even remember what I was doing. And then I went like, oh, so this is a wisp of the energy. And I went like, oh, I'm sorry. I get it now. It is a wisp.
And it starts as whispers, right? And that's what I love about the more you start being aware of energies. Because a lot of us, we're not, even though it's our first language, we get very trained out of that very quickly. It's all about the words and the specifics you ask for and narrowing things down and defining them. And so to get back into that world of energy and to notice the whispers, it's almost like a retraining of, wow, this is actually what I'm aware of. And so when you start to go, okay, what energies are around me? What am I asking for? You start to like reopen your eyes, and your awareness of like that whole palette of energies that are available starts to just it's ever expanding. Like, I don't think that can end. It's like the more I'm like, oh, I noticed that little wisp, and I don't have to define it. You just start to go, oh my gosh, there's so much. And as I played with this, the less and less specific my energy shopping list looks. I mean, even like, the energy of running barefoot in the grass is an energy. It's still kind of defined. Now, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, listening to a song, or you see a person, and it's almost like an instant download of something in your world. Like, that's an energy you're aware of. There's no way to put a word to it, but it's like, I just sort of, go, oh, that was wonderful. Like, I'll have more of that too. And that's another way of being able to acknowledge that you're aware of an energy. You don't have to define it, but you're like, I know that made me laugh or smile. Like, I'd like more of that. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so you were going to tell us about like the energy exercise, because at the beginning I was like, how do I name, or how do I put, or how do I ask for what I want, when they go like, but don't ask too specific. Okay, so I won't ask specific, because then specific it's limiting. But you have to go with the energy, but I don't know what energies I want. So then it's like, how do I do
How do I
it?
do it?
Help me, please.
And that's what I love about this. Like,
I'm still getting confused about how to ask. I'm just like, Andrea, how do you ask for this? And she's like, don't even try to say something specific, because you're not gonna get that thing in that way. So yeah, can you like explain more about it? Because I think it's one of the confusing stuff about this.
Yeah. Well, first of all, how much do we want to figure out how everything works? And funnily, like, there is no how. If there is a how, it's you. Like, you being you is the how. So like with this, I mean, I will say like how I started with playing with this, where there were certain things where I was like, you know what, I would like it. So when I first started playing with Access Consciousness, I was not working. I had been a teacher in high school for years, and then I had stopped teaching to have my two little girls. So my girls were little, like still in diapers. I think both of them were. And I knew I wanted to go back to creating, have some sort of job in the world. Yeah. And I didn't want to define it, but there were certain energies I desired to have. So one of them was, I would love to work with people that I am grateful for, and I enjoy being around, and they are grateful for me, the being, and every day is different. That's one of the things I did like about teaching, was every day was different. I was interacting with people and kids, but I also wanted more travel. And I was like, universe, I don't know how this is going to show up, because I have 2 little baby girls and I'm not working right now. But I know when I was younger, traveling the world and backpacking was it contributed so much. And I was like, however that shows up, I know I would like more travel. So I was asking for certain things. I just was not limiting based on, oh, it must show up like this job or X, Y, or Z, right? Okay. So that's what was the beginning of my energy shopping list, were things like that. Oh, like I knew I was going to need a nanny or a babysitter. And so I was like, okay, some sort of person that would be a contribution to the family, that is better at doing some of the mom stuff that I am, that we can contribute to them. That's just, and contribution is just like, that's kind of undefinable, but it's also a request. It's not someone just showing up to check off a to-do list. It's, I would like someone that contributes to our family. Okay. So that was my first, like, kind of basic energy shopping list. And then with the energy ball exercise, what it is you're basically asking for these things based on an energy and asking the universe to contribute. So what I would do, and what you can do, is if you have a few of those things that you've been asking for, or in the future, if you start to listen to this podcast, like, okay, these are some energies I would like more of in my life. Then you tap into those. So I would either look at my written list at first, that's sometimes too linear for a lot of people. I'd go, okay, all those things I'm asking for, tap into your energy shopping list. And then basically, here's this whole universe, right, that is full of all of these energies and possibilities. And you go, okay, if I could have anything as my future, what would it be? And you just ask that question from asking the universe and go, okay, I know I'm asking for these energies and more and greater, but I'm asking for this. And then you go, okay, anything or anyone that could contribute to that future, I am asking for that contribution. And you pull energy from all over the universe into your sort of energy ball. And that's different for everybody. It's like, it can be in front of you. It could just be like, here's what I'm asking for. And then you just pull energy from anything or anyone that can contribute to that. And then you let trickles go back out again to anything or anyone that contribute to that future. And that literally just like takes 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but that is how easy it can be.
Okay.
And I started doing that. I just was like, I don't know how this is going to show up because I can't figure it out. But what you also do, if you do that daily, or, whenever you think of it, I think I did it, several times a week. And I'd often do it laying in bed before I woke up, just taking a few seconds to ask that and, tap into those energies and just go, okay, I'm asking, I'm pulling, trickles back out, and some people do it until they feel their heart open up, or they just get a sense of communion. It's different. You can't do it wrong. Trust me, I thought I was not doing anything and I was doing it wrong forever. But what you're doing is you're also getting a sense, an energetic sense of what you are asking for. So we talk about, the other thing I talk about is like following the energy. You'll hear this concept in Access Consciousness. Well, how do I create my life? I have my list, and then what's next? Well, follow the energy, because in your day-to-day life, you're going to have things come up, choices to make, what do I want to do? Who do I want to meet with? What is my business asking for? And what the energy ball exercise and making an energy shopping list contributes to is you're starting to get familiar with, wow, what energies am I asking for? What contribute to me? What bring me joy? So that when an opportunity or possibility shows up, you want to follow the energy. Like what matches energetically to those things that now you're becoming more aware of, you're asking for. So in this example, like I was playing with that, right? And then we have like a nanny, a babysitting service that I was like, okay. And all I had to do was scan through like photos and look at, and I was like, that one. And energetically, before even talking to someone, and I had this happen over and over and over again, like that one, I'd call them up. I'd say, hey, can I interview you for a nanny job for my kids? And that first person I found, huge contribution, amazing. And then same thing, then Access Consciousness was like, hey, we've been seeing you contribute to other people's businesses. Would you like to work for Access and do our social media? It matched an energy. I was like, okay, I still have to pay this money, like for my nanny. I'm making maybe $2 more than what I have to pay out for my childcare, but it matched an energy of what I was asking for. And so I was like getting aware of, okay, this is what I'm asking for. Logically, this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to choose it and trust that energy and trust that I'm going to follow it, and a greater future will show up, which it did. But you have to take those first steps, which might seem not logical or like they don't make sense, or that, but when you follow the energy, that's the magical kind of a way of creating your life that's easier than trying to figure it out, and ends up greater in the end than like trying to define it and ask for very specific things.
Yeah, because sorry, Andrea, go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna talk now. So I was just gonna say, I think the most difficult thing for me for the energy shopping list is that I try to define too much what I want to ask. So then I just like narrow it down so much that then I cannot ask the universe for more of what I like or what I love or whatever. But this explanation also like give me the tools to like see that I have to just like go around and pull the energy and then just ask the universe, what else can I have from it?
Yeah, and so if you have like a specific thing on your list, look at that and ask yourself, what actually am I asking for here? Okay. So if you have like do you have an example of something kind of specific?
Let's say I want to sign a contract, for example. Like I wanted to just like sign a contract with a company I've been working with, and it doesn't really happen right now, and I really want it to happen, so kind of like that.
I love that you brought that up too, because we are so impatient, right? When we ask for it, we're like, I asked for this, I would like this to show up now. So a couple things there. That's a specific, you're working with someone, you would like this deal to close, or that's where you could ask a question. One of my favorite questions with Access is, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can I be that would allow this to come to fruition with total ease? And that's and then you can say, okay, and anything that doesn't allow that, I destroy and uncreate it, and then use the access clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, PUD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because that's more of like something that you're like you would like to happen and come to fruition and close. Okay. Say working with a specific company, like, okay, that's a company or something I want to work with, or a person I'd like to work with. Okay. That you could take that specific request and go, okay, but what are the energies in that person or that company, like that I'm actually drawn to, that I'm actually asking for? And that's where you could break it down a bit and undefine it. Okay. And go, oh, I'd like to, that's a place where you could go, okay, yeah, that company embodies a certain, what are the energies of it that you'd actually ask for, and then ask for that instead of being as specific.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Cool. And then that's where, and then you'll notice that things will start to show up. And this is, Andrea, you mentioned this too, like finding the $100 bill under your computer. You want to acknowledge, and this is what I call like, I keep a little diary of magic, where I write down those things that have shown up that I did not expect them to show up in that way, but that I asked for. That was like, oh, I was asking for more money, and then I found like money under my computer or in my pocket. Or I was asking for this, this energy of this business, like to show up, and oh my gosh, I actually met a friend today that embodied that energy. Or I was asking for more receiving, and someone offered me a free coffee at the coffee shop. And then from that acknowledgement, what you're doing there is you're basically saying thank you to the universe, and acknowledging your potency of asking for things and them showing up. And also you start to realize, wow, it never shows up how I think it's going to. Yeah. And it's like this magical daily adventure of, and the more you write it down, the more will show up, and the more you'll start to go, oh my God, this is so funny, because I asked for this here, thinking it was, because it's so hard to not try to think how it's going to show up. Yeah. And then when you just start to be aware, it's really fun to go, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I remember asking for that, years ago or a week ago, and it just showed up totally different.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the things that I'm missing right now, it's just like write it down and do the exercise of like the ball of energy and pull the energy and all that. Because I've been like working on it, but it's not like I'm being in the moment and doing the things and using the tools and all that. So I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. And what if it could be easy and fun?
Yeah.
So like, you don't have to figure out everything you desire in your life. Take a couple things. Like I said, I started with, I know I want to travel more. And I remember asking for, like, cause be specific, cause travel could end up being a lot of travel. I travel so much now that I was like, no, really, I can't do a podcast for a month. but asking for, I knew I wanted to travel. Like, and I think I started asking for 3 or 4 days a month or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know. I was kind of specific, but also not too specific, you know? But I just asked for that and to work with people I was grateful for. I didn't and I think I like came up with, I got clear on I'd like this amount of money or more. Mm-hmm. And then I just asked for however that would show up. You don't have to, and then just play with those few things at first and have fun with it, you know? Take a minute a day. So it doesn't seem like this, like, oh my God, I don't know how to do it right. Like it's just you going, wow, I'm asking, create something different.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that it doesn't become a chore. And then it feels like, I don't want it. No, and then you just don't do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
That's why I always kind of sucked at vision boards and meditating, because it would turn into this chore rather than what I would love for the idea of energy shopping to be is play, like having fun with, like, kind of like a kid wakes up every day and is like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do today? It's like asking from that wonder of, if anything were possible, what would I like to have show up? And they don't worry about figuring out how. They're just kind of like, more, please. And something shows up. They're like, thank you. And I'm still going to ask for more. It's not, you're not being grateful. It's like, wow, that showed up. Cool. That play, that, like, acknowledging that you know more than you think you know, that you're aware of energies, like, so that every day is fun. And, you know, a year down the line, like if I look at my life, you know, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, it's completely different. Did I have many moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so impatient, I want this to show up now? Or, you know, I asked for this, why isn't it showing up? But you're creating your life is a long game of being patient. The universe has to rearrange for certain, like, big things you're asking for. But I think all of us would like the day-to-day life to be fun. And that's what I would love this, like, to get out in the world more of that. That's the part that I think is missing in a lot of these other techniques. You make yourself wrong. They become a chore. You know, you're not getting it right. You can't figure out the how. This is like enjoying every day, enjoying the ride and having it be fun, and every day empowering yourself more to know that your life that you're asking for is going to be completely different than anyone else's, because you're unique and the energies you're aware of are unique. Like, we all interpret and interact with the universe differently. So we're going to have different energies and things that we ask for.
Yeah, because I mean, that's one of the things that I love so much about Access, is that it helps you and it shows you and it empowers you not to make yourself wrong. Like, oh, I didn't do, like, I don't know, my 10 times in the morning or 10 times in the evening. Oh, cool. So I can do 20 right now if I so wish to. If not, I can do it tomorrow or don't. I mean, it's your choice. Like, doesn't matter. It's your choice. It's your life. You create it as you see fit. Neither Gary nor Dane nor Simone, no one is coming to pull your ears and coming to tell you, like, you're naughty, you're not doing a correct job or using the tools or whatever. I mean, they're just there for you to use and create. That's one of the main things for me. Like, they're showing us to create and to change, not only you, but the people around you. Like, I've seen the people around me change because I've changed, and the people that I'm choosing now, or the people that I'm choosing to have in my life now, are completely different from a year back. It's like, I'm incredibly grateful. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about trust, Emily? Because you say that the whole universe has to rearrange for us to have, like, the long game. Because of course we're very like, okay, I ask like 10 times, can I have it right now? I've been asking 10 times. Okay, now. Do you know what I mean?
So impatient. We're so
so
I know
there's this trust element, which I think that I've gotten better at it, because I know the universe has my back. But I remember like the first times that I would go like, okay, so I'm asking, but it would go like, I'm asking, but is it gonna come or not? Like, is it gonna be, like, how can it be this easy or this true? How can it be? How can this be? You know what I mean? How can I
Yeah.
trust the ease of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And sometimes, you will ask for things and they will show up really quickly. And when that happens, be like, yay, thank you, universe, more of that. And that's awesome. And there are other things that we so often just like we ask for something, it doesn't show up. We go into like, oh my God, is it going to work? Or the conclusion that it's not working. And when you come to that conclusion, like, oh, I asked, it's not showing up, or, I've asked for more money and now, I just lost some. So screw all this stuff. This doesn't work. And then when you do that, it completely stops the creation of it. So when you ask that, one great example is, if people who are familiar with Christmas, and in America, we have Santa Claus. So when a kid asks for gifts to show up on Christmas, they might have a list of what they're asking for, right? But they know they're going to wake up that morning and there's going to be gifts, right? And some of them might be exactly from their list, right? But most kids, when they're young enough, they're so excited for just the joy of the magic of like, I've asked for things and like, oh my gosh, but they don't go, oh crap. I mean, some kids, do go, I didn't get what was on my list. But a lot, that really, when you're really young and that energy of, that's one of the greatest examples I can think of, when you just ask, there's going to be magic that shows up on the morning. You don't know exactly what it's going to look like. So that, of course, it's happening on Christmas morning, wherever you open your presents or whatever that is, or whatever religion you are and holiday you celebrate. There's something like that pretty much everywhere around the world. But so it's partly like knowing that, trusting you and knowing that truly ask and receive it's a law of the universe.
Yeah.
And after you ask, there may be things that you need, like points of view you need to clear, because whatever point of view you have actually creates what shows up in your life. So if you have the point of view that it has to be hard to make money, like you have to work hard to make money, it's a common one. Well, if you're asking to win $1 million, then you have a conflicting point of view with what you're asking for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're like, wait, I've asked to win the lottery. Why haven't I won yet? Well, there's
because
probably
it has
a lot of different.
Yeah,
it has to be hard. Like I can't just get gifted that. So there's a part of also it can be an enjoyable part of, I've asked for this. Okay, universe, I probably have points of view in the way of some of this stuff showing up, of being able to receive it. So that's where there's this, Access Consciousness is tens of thousands of tools. And rather than being overwhelmed, it's like picking a new one to play with and getting curious of, okay, what points of view, and you could just go very general, all the points of view I have about money, that keep it being hard work, or that I can't just receive with ease. Like I destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, puddle, nine shorts, boys and beyond. So, but part of it is trusting that is the way the universe works. So if you enjoy that journey and are willing to ask questions and like, I don't want to say put in the work, but have fun with exploring, like, oh, wow, if I change this point of view, my reality can change. If I'm willing to be this energy, be the energy of ease with money, I can receive ease with money. I can receive money with ease. It's like, so you start to ask and then be willing to look at, cool, now that I've asked and I don't have a point of view of how it's going to show up, then I'm willing to play with the universe. And universe, you can show me some of my crazy points of view I have, and I'm willing to look at them and clear them when I get to them and keep going, but not to get discouraged of whenever I see like a roadblock come up or something looking like I've asked and it's not showing up. I look at that and I go, okay, what's right about this I'm not getting? And is this something I'm asking for showing up in a completely different way? Or is this the universe going, here, you asked for this. Here's what seems like a roadblock. It's actually the universe gifting you the awareness of, here's a point of view you have that is in the way of you receiving what you've asked for. Here it is. It's not the universe being like mean. It's like, here it is. You now have the awareness. Would you like to change it? And then you have choice to go, yeah, I'm willing to look at that. I'm willing to be vulnerable, look at the stuff I have going on, and then take the actions to clear it and ask questions and move beyond it. And I mean, 99.9, if not 100% of the time, that's always what it is. As if you're willing to look at the universe as like a friend, as a companion, then it's nothing is wrong. It's like, okay, what is this? And how can I use it to my advantage? What questions can I ask? And then you stop seeing roadblocks as roadblocks, and you start to see everything as the creation of your life.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. Different way of looking at things, right? Because we so often go to, I don't trust this isn't working. It's like, no, everything can be a gift. And I know that is not to say hard things do not show up. I mean, I have had times where I'm like, seriously, but in those moments, when I have really trusted myself, like one of I'm divorced. And one of those times I really had to use the tools that I talk about was looking at, okay, if, looking at the energy of that choice of leaving my husband and looking at, okay, what will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? Getting the energy of that. Because trust me, I had a list in my head of everything horrible that would go wrong. What will my life be like in 5 years if I don't? And logically, there's pros and cons to that choice that your mind's going to figure out. And energetically, those were two such different energies. And the one of leaving was so much more expansive and matched what I was asking for, that even though I had all these things, my mind was saying, this will happen. Don't do this. This will be hard. I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust the energy on this one and follow it. And not saying that every day was easy and I didn't let myself have crappy days or, I had stuff to deal with. Absolutely. But again, the long game, I knew I was following an energy that was greater. So it's that time of like not making yourself wrong when things are hard or things aren't showing up, and giving yourself days to feel crappy and not want to ask a question. Like, that's okay. And then when you're ready to ask a question, then do it. When you're ready to tap back into what would I really like, my life to be like, what energies match more of this? And then just put one foot in front of there, make one more choice, one more step. And you start to create something greater, even though you'll have, of course, like all of us have stuff come up. We have people in our lives and situations go on that, we interact with all the time.
Yeah, that we can control. And one of the things that usually comes up is that ease doesn't usually mean easy. Like, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It can be hard, but with ease.
But it used to be, or I don't know if Andrea agree with me on this one, but I think that our parents are just like on the side of, if it's not hard, it's not worth it, or you're not worth getting to, or I don't know, whatever you get or don't, it has to be hard for you to get it. If not, it's just not valued or whatever. I think it's more on the lines that you were asking, Andrea.
Yeah, something like that. Or for example, back in Guatemala, where we're both from, it's like easy money is not good money. There's a lot of narcos and all of that. So when we have like lots of new rich people, and they're like, oh my God, it's new rich, it's dirty money. And so there's
great example.
Yeah,
that's a great example of like a point of view that exists culturally too, that would keep you from, well, one, if you did receive money with ease, you're probably going to receive judgments of how you just received it. So even if you didn't make it from drug money or whatever that is, you're going to probably be judged for that. Are you willing to receive that judgment? And then are you willing to actually choose to have that, even though, like, do you have points of view about it being hard, or like, there's so many things, but that's the gift of, oh, cool, this is definitely a point of view and thing in our culture. Where have I bought that as mine? Everywhere I bought that as mine, you can return it to sender. Thank you very much. And then destroy and uncreate everything you've created in your life as a result of buying that is true for you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very interesting. I mean, so thank you so much for this conversation. I mean, I'm gonna definitely listen back to this because it's a total gem. Like, honestly,
for sure.
Like, keeping it in loop
all over again.
Yeah. So do you have something coming up? Where can people find you? Can get in contact with you? What's up with you right now?
Cool. So yeah, my website is emilyevansrussell.com, and I always have my latest things that are going on. I don't know when you're going to air this, but I always have a free if you're on Facebook, I have a free Facebook group called the Neon Sheep Lounge. And there's also a Neon Sheep Lounge en Espanol that you can search on Facebook. And I do free between 2 and 3 a month, always free, like mini classes, mini Facebook lives on different topics that you can find. I also have a monthly club called Club Neon, where I do 2 Zoom. It's $33 a month for 2 Zoom calls. I do one call on my own, and then I have different guests like Dane here and Simone Milicis and various facilitators come on. It's so much fun. And that's a different thing. And that's also on my website. You can find it, emilyevansrussell.com/Club Neon. And I'm doing a free 5-day body challenge in the Facebook group starting this Friday. So, which I don't know when this will air, but starting cool. July 9th. Yeah. And the replays will live there. So if you listen to this, recording later, you can always find the replays of that. But I tend to do like free lives and then little challenges inside that group so that there's always free content and stuff for people to check out. See if you'd like more of it. And I'm also doing a telecall with Dr. Dane here at the end of this month in July 22nd and 23rd called Allowance or Acceptance. So I'm excited about that topic too. So that's the first time we've facilitated a call together, and I'm really excited. So that's coming up as well, which you can find on the Access website. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Emily, for your time and all of the gems and wisdom that you put up on our amazing, beautiful podcast. Is there anything you'd like to add, Gabi?
No, I'm just so grateful that Emily could be here with us today. I hope that you can join us again sometime in the future. And I don't know, Emily, if you got anything else to say to our listeners, you got the floor.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say first, thank you, ladies, and thank you for all you're creating around the world, and anyone listening for just being open to like new ideas, playing with the tools, and just because we talked about ease at the end, truly like a great thing to play with is all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. If you're familiar with Access, it's the mantra of Access, and no matter how many years I play with these tools, like energy shopping and asking, and just all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, they're truly magical. And I'm just grateful for you guys asking me and being able to share the tools with the world and spread them around.
So thank you, guys. See you later, people. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.